Basic AF episode 93. Show notes for this and all episodes can be found at basicafshow.com. Hey, how's it going? Tom Anderson here. Jeff Battersby over there. Hello, Jeff. Good to see you.
Yeah, I just bumped into my mic because I had my eyes closed. Don't ask me why.
All right.
Dreaming about you, Tommy boy. And
as you do.
Yes, yes, I do.
I hope not, but
I hope not too. Don't remember last night's stream, but hopefully it doesn't include you, pal. That's all I got to say. So
I would hope not.
Yeah, we shall.
Unless
see.
Unless we're podcasting megastars making $5 a month.
We're making $6 a month of our own
from
money,
ourselves,
Tom.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Moyer supports us too, so thank you, Joe, for that.
Oh, does he?
He does.
Woo, yeah. Joe Moyer. What a man.
So shout out for that. And
I like that.
You might as well give it a plug, Jeff, in case anyone else would like to.
Yeah, you can, I don't even know where it is. On our website, there's a link to be able to support us for a couple bucks a month if you want. Yeah. And if you'd like to do that, we'd love for you to do that. There's a little bit of news. John Dvorak, longtime Mac hater. I mean, longtime columnist for a number of magazines. Unfortunately, passed away a couple. Actually, been 2 weeks ago now. I think
just about.
Yeah, just 2 weeks. And they had, he's been doing a podcast. What is the name of that podcast? I don't really know.
No Agenda was the one he's done for,
a long time.
16 years or so.
Yeah, you said they had 6-hour memorial service for him, right?
They did, yeah. So they did, I haven't listened to that, but they did, the show is all based on donations.
That's the thing I was going to get to is that it's,
and so they've always done it that way. They've kind of taken the approach that no advertisers allows them to do things that, so they basically can't be canceled, so to speak.
Right.
And so they usually do, they were doing pretty well with it. It's a big show. I think it's like 1 million downloads or something, but they did do like donations as a tribute type thing. Again, it was like 6 hours, like 3.5 hours, I think, was just reading the donation notes and everything, and they still didn't finish. So
yeah, you said that it was long.
But yeah, he was an expert at getting the Apple users fired up back in the day.
Yeah, he was.
He put it on the back, and he even said they should cancel the iPhone before it even because remember they announced it and then it didn't ship until June, and he was like, "Nah, they just need to kill it."
Oh my God, such a funny guy he was. I remember reading his column. I think it was in PC World. I used to read it, or one of those magazines. And, flaming. Actually, I take this from A Bug's Life. Flaming death. He was one who, used to kind of goad those of us who were Mac centric, and he was a funny guy about it. So the point I was going to get to though is no ads for those guys, and we have no ads either. And Tom and I basically, not that this costs us $1 million to produce, other than time and that piece of it, which Tom spends more time on this than I do because he's the one who has to edit it. Although I do have to listen to it, I do have to listen to it, so maybe it's the same. But we'd like to do the same. We'd like to be able to charge nothing. So donate to us, like Joe Moyer, the journaling guide. Was expecting you to fill in there, but you went dead.
Well, I was going to let you finish the thought. I can cut that out. The one edit that I have to make today.
The one edit that you'll have to do, right.
Well, let me add a marker.
That was me coughing. The sound
already, yes.
Soul coughing.
Yes. So speaking of news, there is a new phone that's been getting a lot of publicity, a lot of push on socials and YouTube. Samsung has updated their Fold series, the Z Fold. They've got a Z Fold Ultra, which is an update of so it's the Z Fold 7 update. So it's the update to the 8 Gs. That's been around for a while, and they've just kind of done a spec update for that one. But they've got a newer model, which you're seeing a lot of coverage on, and that is the Z Fold8.
Yes, which you got your fat hands on a couple of days ago.
I did, and the reason it kind of I got interested in wanting to go see it is because it looks very, very similar to that rumored 3D print model that leaked out a while back that we talked about on the show, and Gannon Norberg printed one up for us to look at. Almost identical to that. And so...
Which makes you wonder whether or not that little prototype was based off the Samsung Galaxy. Because it's almost exactly... That'd be hilarious. That would be amazing. But yes, it's it has that same form factor. And Marquise Brownlee, who does all sorts of good stuff, and he did a pretty cool little video. And after having used this for a week or two, I think, right?
It was about a week, I think.
Yeah. And the thing that's kind of cool about it, and this is interesting to me, surprisingly interesting to me, is that it's the same size as a pocket notebook, which Tom is now addicted to field notes, as I have been for many thousands of years. But yeah, it's got that form factor folded, a notebook, so it fit nicely in your breast pocket if you have one. Mm-hmm. And then it folds out to just slightly smaller than an iPad mini. Is that about right? Does that seem?
Yep. Yeah. So when it's closed, the front display is 5.5 inches diagonally, and then when you open it up, it's 7.6.
Okay.
Yeah. So just a bit under the iPad mini, and so. When I was looking at coverage of this, I was like, okay, so that looks like what the Apple one's supposed to look like. I want to go see it. And so one day during lunch, rolled over to the nearby Best Buy, and they had it right inside the front door. So
surprise.
Right. And so I thought I'd go check it out. And I have to say, I was really impressed with the build quality of it. I know people that have Samsung phones at work and they really like them. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I think Samsung is one of the top Android makers for sure. So it's not really a surprise, but I looked at the Z Fold 7 a while back too, because I was curious about that one. But I think they might be onto something with this design. And obviously if Apple makes one and it looks very similar, that's going to be like a big boost, kind of the credibility of the whole thing. We'll see how many people end up buying them because they're very expensive. We'll get to that in a minute. But the thing kind of, and again, this was 5 minutes, so it's not a review or anything. It's just a kind of a quick, first look type thing.
Yeah.
It was light. It was very light.
Which is interesting.
Like iPhone Air, when you pick that up, remember that when you first got it, you're like, holy crap, this doesn't even feel like a real phone. It feels like one of those dummy units they used to put out back in the day. This same kind of thing. I was like, wow, that is super light. That kind of, it's not a square, but that rectangular, shorter form factor, because the slab phones are taller. And so this is kind of squatty, and it's wider than your typical... What are you laughing at?
Because the next thing that comes to mind when you say squatty is potty. Squatty potty. Sorry, Tom. I can't help myself.
But it fit really well. Just felt good in the hand. It was smaller, it was balanced, because sometimes phones feel like, they're tall, especially the Pro Max. You've got that, right? You're still on the 15 Pro Max. And so it felt nice. And then when you open it up, you get the bigger display, of course, and you can use it in landscape or portrait. And whatever you have on the front display by default, when you open it up, it shows up on the bigger display. So it just kind of mirrors it. I believe there's a setting where you can actually have the front display be something else, and then when you open it, the larger two displays on the inside is something else. So they don't have to mirror. It could be an extended type desktop thing. butter smooth on the scrolling. Like it just seemed like it's going to perform really well. But
how's the fold?
The crease?
Yeah.
You could see it under certain angles, but it wouldn't be an issue for me.
Okay. I'll leave it at that. My question is, these things are brand new display copies that are sitting out there, and people have been using them for a few minutes. But what happens after 2 years? What do you?
Right. And I did do a little reading around because on Reddit, some people were asking the same question. It's like, well, of course it looks great. It's brand new. That was kind of my thought. But there were some people who've had like some of the early folds had issues, like they would delaminate and everything, and it would just look like crap. But from what I was reading, and again, this is just randos on Reddit, so I don't know how accurate it is, but what I was reading is that the newer ones
Tom. What are you talking about?
For the last several years have held up well, and it hasn't really been an issue. Samsung's apparently using some type of new titanium component somewhere that's supposed to keep that even less of an issue over time. As part of like the sub-screen things. So who knows until you try it, I guess. But I was really impressed.
Okay.
Like first impressions, like how would it be long-term? Like would it get annoying to have to constantly open the thing and be like, ugh, I got to open it, just do something. I don't know. I think the smaller screen on the front seemed to be good enough for day-to-day, like quick stuff. Like if you just want to send a message or scroll social or something like that. It's got me more interested in Apple's solution to see what product, to see what that's going to be here in 6 or 7 weeks when they have their event.
When they announce whatever.
But oh baby, it's going to cost.
Yeah, how much does this one cost, Tom?
So Jeff, it's great that you asked.
Oh, funny. Why would I do that?
Starts at $18.99.
Oh, wait, starts at? You mean you can get more juice for more money?
Correct.
Oh, my God.
So that gets you 256 gigs storage. And then it goes from there to 512 up to 1 terabyte. And so the 512 is 2100 and the 1 terabyte is 2500. Yeah, so a lot. We're not quite in Vision Pro territory, but we're half a Vision Pro.
Or MacBook Pro.
And then if you want to go up another to the top tier, you're at 2/3 of a Vision Pro at that point.
Yeah. 2/3, which you, I'm sure, feel painfully, as we say, 2/3 of a Vision Pro. That's a lot of money, man, which makes me think Apple not going to do much better than that. They're probably going to be more expensive. That amount of money for a fold, that might leave me out of the market. I will say, given your experience and what you did, intrigued more than I expected to be. I did not expect to be at all intrigued. In fact, if I were to get a new phone this year, I would, I have a Pro Max now. The only reason I got a Pro Max is because of the cameras, which I'm very, very happy with. By the way, I'm also super happy with Halide, which I've been using. They have a new version out that if you have not checked it out, definitely something you should. Just total aside, but the new version of Halide is, I use it way more regularly than I did the previous version. I got regularly out. Look at me.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, right. My tongue usually twists over those L's. But the, I was going to go down to a smaller size, the iPhone, possibly going to go down to the iPhone Pro instead of the Pro Max, whatever they're going to call that version this year.
Right, you should get the same cameras now. That used to not be the case.
Right, exactly right. That the smaller version, and I like that form factor. The Pro Max is big. I have fat hands, but they're not that fat. You know what I'm saying? They're, I can. All I have to say is I'm big hands, Tom. Big hands. But Pro Max is still pretty big in my big hands. So
yeah, and I was watching some YouTube videos on it, which we'll put in the show notes because Marquez did his, and then there were a couple others. Mr. Mobile, Michael Fisher did a really fun one. He's been in foldables since day one, and so I really like to look at his stuff. And then he loved it. He's like, it's not perfect, but it's my favorite one so far. But when it's open, it's a 4x3 dimension, and so. Video, you don't have quite the same amount of the letterboxing, like the black bars is not as big as, like, say, on an iPad, for example. And I think the front display was 16:10 or something like that. But I did mess with the multitasking a little bit. Like, you can move the apps around, have two apps side by side. You can make them 1/3, 2/3, which has me wondering what Apple might do there with their things, like, because they built this new windowing system in iPad OS, and so I'm wondering how much of that's going to translate over to the phone. I imagine
to whatever it is that they're
got to be. Now, will they make it more like the old split view on iPad, where you can do like half, 1/3, 2/3, and that's all you're going to get, or will they let you actually move things around? I think on the Mini it's like free windowing, like you can put 4 and 1 in each corner if you wanted to. So maybe they'll do that. I don't know.
Time to get Riley back in.
Yep. But like for books, things like that, reading look really nice. Like in Portrait in particular, everybody seemed to love playing games on it. So it looks very, very interesting.
Yeah. Have you seen that smaller mode, when it's folded, the notebook size, there is an e-reader now. It's like a $60 e-reader. The name evades me. I'll be able to look it up in a second. That has about that same form factor. Basically, it's just designed for reading stuff. And I wonder whether or not something like that would be useful. Some kind of e-reader that you could just read a book on with it folded closed, and you kind of scroll through that. I kind of like that idea. I do, except for on weekends, read New York Times and a bunch of other news outlets. It's one of the first things I do while I'm sipping my first cup of coffee in the morning.
God, what an awful way to start the day, reading the news.
Yeah, right.
No wonder you're so grumpy.
Yeah. It explains many things. Many, many things.
You got to protect those first few hours, Jeff. Don't start off down there, bro.
Yeah, save it for the end of the day.
And just avoid it.
Blood sugar's low, and
about it anyway. So it's like that.
And I can't do anything about it. It's my limit. It's what I limit myself to. So just the morning, I try to avoid it for the rest of the day. But something like that makes sense to me. I'm going to step back to something else I said a few months ago, though. Apple's not going to be any less expensive than this.
No.
It's going to be in the same price range. We're talking computer prices is what this is. I mean, I got my MacBook Air for half of what it cost to get this. This was before the prices jumped a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
But I got it for half of what it cost to get the base model of this Samsung. I want an OS I can use as a computer then, connect my Bluetooth keyboard to it, plug it into my studio display, and have it be an all-in-one, all-inclusive device.
So what if,
while
we're pontificating,
right? Because we're so smart, Tom. We're Redditors.
Wow. Never considered myself that, but
yeah, we have the same depth of knowledge. Sorry.
So what if one of the wild cards in Apple's upcoming foldable is you plug that thing into your studio display, and then it works like an iPad when you plug it into your studio display?
Well, I would assume it would do that. That shouldn't even be a question.
The phone doesn't do that.
Doesn't turn into an iPad. It just turns into a phone. But
it would be the first for the phone, though, right? Because I think the phone.
Yes, it would be a first for the phone.
Yeah. Because then you're kind of like, okay, then I've kind of got some added benefit there.
Yeah, then I get to spend some time with Riley.
But I'd be worried about heat. Like I don't know if they'd be able to do that because it seems like it would get hot.
You think?
And it's already very thin anyway. Yeah. But I don't know. We'll see. Biggest complaints I think people have on this one, which will probably carry over to the Apple one, is the cameras. Like they get two. They don't get the telephoto, and the quality of the photos seem to be good. And in a lot of light, quite good, but then it starts to fall off from there. There's no. You get the fingerprint reader on this one. The rumor was that the Apple one will have the fingerprint, have Touch ID instead of Face ID. And so we'll just have to wait and see. And I'm going to say, we can put it in the bet book. The Apple one will start at $2,000.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Which would be plus 100 over the Samsung, but we'll see.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's a lot of money. A lot of money for a phone.
Which segues beautifully into the segment of the show that's going to be Jeff's rant. Apple's making it easier to buy these expensive products.
Scare quotes.
Scare quotes. Yeah. Easier. Easier does not equal better. Jeff, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Apple's new upgrade program, which... all right. Here's the thing I'm going to say right now before we get into too much detail. Apple had an upgrade program. I never used it. I would buy my phones outright and then use it. But Apple had an upgrade program that included AppleCare bundled with your phone, and it was basically in-house financing that you paid X number of dollars a month. And then at the end of, I don't know, was it every year or was it every other year? I can't remember.
I think it was every year.
Yeah, you got to bump up to whatever the next one was. Apple, by the way, has excellent financing if you use the Apple card. You no interest for, depending on the device you get, either 12 or 24 months, which is honestly decent because you're just doing the same thing that you were doing if you went to your AT&T or Verizon or whomever phone dealership and got a phone and they tacked it onto your monthly bill. They're now, I don't even like this name. They've now hooked up with Klarna, which sounds shady right the box. I don't know why. Klarna, this is why we don't want advertising, because Klarna would never advertise this with us now because I said they sound shady. But it's a lease program, not a buy program, but a lease program. And a lease coming with all the same fun things that you get if you lease an automobile. You own nothing. It's not your phone after whatever the time period is, after whatever the lease period is, 2 years, I presume. You turn that phone in and get a new one, just like you do with your BMW or your Subaru Forester if you're leasing it. I don't know if I like it. And I don't like the idea that Klarna is the one that we're doing this with. Prices apparently little less expensive than what you would pay if you were paying $50 a month or whatever it is to Apple. But just like your automobile, there's a buyout at the end of it, so you have to pay $750 or something like that to own your phone that you've been leasing. There have been some concerns amongst people writing about this that, does that mean your data's gone? Well, your data's not. You wipe the phone, you give it back to them. Your data's the same as it ever was in iCloud until you don't pay for that. And then and you've got access to everything that's yours. So I think that's like a little red herring. But the reality is, you're using this Klarna program. Apple's moving this stuff out of their hands and into the hands of somebody with a name I don't even trust. What does Klarna mean, Tom?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's just some made up word. It's like,
yeah, I mean, I see them everywhere. Like they're,
yeah, right. It's like drug names, though. You just make something.
Actually, does sound like a prescription drug name,
doesn't it? Right, Klarna, Eliquis.
I knew it. It was big pharmacy behind all of it.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's all.
Well, when you get to the end of the lease, right? You just said you can buy it outright with a one-time payment.
You can jump into another lease.
Right. So Apple's got a bunch, and I mean a bunch of, which probably says something, a bunch of questions in the FAQ section on the Apple Upgrade site, which we will put in the show notes for you. But it does say, at the end of your initial lease term, you can do one of the following: upgrade and return your current device, leave the program and return your current device, or buy the device outright with a one-time payment from your Klarna account. Now, here's the thing where people will have to pay attention. If you don't take any of these actions, your lease will be extended month to month for up to 6 months from the end of your initial lease term to decide which option is right for you. During this time, you'll be charged your monthly payment until you take action. So once your term is up, like if you don't do something, you just keep paying.
For 6 months only, though.
Right.
And then what happens after 6 months?
So it says, if no action is taken at the end of the 6-month period, Klarna will charge you the purchase option fee under your lease to buy the device outright. So you may be wondering, well, what's that? And that equals the full price of the device at lease signing, less the sum of lease payments you've already made. So the balance, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. So this is there's something about this that for me, and one of the things I've loved about Apple forever is, yes, you pay a significant amount of money to purchase whatever it is you're purchasing from Apple. Vision Pros. That wasn't a dig. Yes, it was. You're paying a lot of money for this, for what you get. And I have been doing this for years because I think there has been and there is value in doing that. Offloading this upgrade program to this weirdly named Klarna. Yes, they've been around for a long time. They're doing, whatever it is that they're doing. It starts to feel a little icky to me. It's just a gut feeling. I've got no justification for it other than the way that I feel about it, but it makes me feel icky. Plus, you don't get AppleCare, by the way, when you do the Klarna. Like Apple's lease included AppleCare Plus. You don't get that with this. So you have to add that additional payment to whatever it is that you're doing, which, I pay for AppleCare on all my devices. I've got every single one of them that's got AppleCare on them. It's starting to feel to me like Apple is going down the path of every other company that we know, where you, the user, become the product. You, the user, are the one, we're taking money from you. And I don't know. There's just something that makes me feel uncomfortable. That's all I got to say. My spidey senses are tingling. By the way, new Spider-Man movie out if anybody's interested. I love Spider-Man.
Well, I think it's another in a series of events that is contributing to your feeling for this.
Mm-hmm.
So when the Apple Card first came out, I was like, why would they get into this like finance stuff? That seems skeevy. I was like, okay, that was okay. And then it was ads in the App Store. Mm-hmm. And then it's going to be ads in Maps. Mm-hmm. And now it's going to be this upgrade system with Klarna. Mm-hmm. So it's like a series of things, and I think they've, at least for me, have walked kind of a fine line where it hasn't been too disgusting. Like, I'll be honest, I don't care about ads in the App Store. I don't give a shit.
I don't either, because I use the App Store to look for very specific apps. I don't care.
Like, I rarely, just browse the App Store these days for the sake of looking for something. Usually it's like somebody posted on social and it's like, oh, this looks like a cool app. Let me go get it. And then with this, like even this, like I'm like, I don't know. It's like, I think most people, or a lot of people, I don't know if it's most people, but I think a lot of people just work through the carriers anyway for phones. Now, where it's going to be interesting is now it applies to so much more, like iPads, some Macs, but not all. Vision Pro is not included, ironically. Don't know what the tea leaves are saying about the future of the Vision Pro, but we'll see. And Apple Watches are there too. So I've always, at least in the last 10 years, I would say, get my phone through the carrier, which is Verizon. Mm-hmm. They just, tack it onto the bill. It's $35 a month or whatever it is. But that was a decision that I made because I kind of do this every 2-year upgrade cycle at this point. And so it worked for me because what I would do is I would take so say I've got the 16 Pro Max, and if I decide to upgrade this fall, typically what I've done is kept that particular phone that I had and passed it down to one of the kids.
Sure.
And I just pay for that a few more months and then it's paid off. But it's not a situation where, like, this is more, you actively need to be paying attention to as you get to the end, or you're just going to kind of keep paying. And my parents ran into that years ago on their Sprint plan with their phones. Like, they were like, should we still be paying for this? I was like, no, no, you should not. And I think Sprint's, well, it's T-Mobile now, but I think they've changed that. I don't think it works the same way. That was kind of like the legacy thing from way back. They're still running 11 series phones. But so I think, people just need to pay attention to what they're signing up for one. And I'd be curious to see, like, how many people take advantage of this. Like, how were they buying these things before? Right? Because obviously you had the iPhone upgrade program, which had that annual upgrade, and the AppleCare Plus, which was great. A friend of mine was upset about that because he was on that, and he was like, it was great. I had AppleCare, I had the upgrade each year, just kept paying, whatever. And so I'm curious to see, like, what's the uptake going to be for this? Because everything I get, I use the Apple Card, as you mentioned earlier, because you get 0%. It's 12 to 24 months, whatever, and it works that way, and it works out well. Mm-hmm. So I would say if you're considering something, take a look at that as a possibility too. Over this, I would say. This seems icky to me. Now, if you're locked in and you always upgrade every 2 years or something like that, it's another option. I don't know if it's a good option or not. Like, yeah. Certainly nothing to be excited about.
Klarna. I don't know. Don't like the name. Makes me feel funky.
But again, I think it's just going to be up to the individual to be financially responsible, to, like, read through the FAQs. And if you're cool with everything there, go for it. I don't care what you do. It's your life. Do whatever you want.
Fair.
But don't be a moron and sign up for something without knowing what you're signing up for.
So easy to do for everything these days because it's like a contract of, 500 pages that, unless you're a lawyer, you're not going to read.
Right. I think, if you pay attention, I think it'll be fine because you've got the option at the end to own it. Like, there are some posts on Threads and it's like, you'll own nothing and you'll love it. And I'm like, well, no, technically you can still own it if you want. And I think a Mac is probably something that people would be more interested in keeping 4, 5, 6 years after they've paid it off. So I think that you'll definitely want to pay attention to. Apple will notify you, though, because they want you to keep upgrading. They'll notify you when you're eligible for your next upgrade.
Of course.
So, and I think it just depends. Like, I mean, if your phones, I think, even these days now, though, I don't think people are too amped up upgrade every year or every 2 years, except for people like us, which we're in the minority for that.
Yeah. I think it's the slippery slope towards quote unquote services, recurring income, and Apple One just saw a bump in price. I mean, I'll be honest, I like what I get. And I know you don't watch much of anything. In a little side conversation with Ben Young Savage the other day on a little text thread that the three of us were on, and he was like, "What? You don't watch movies, Tom?" It's like, no.
I thought he listened to the show.
He does listen to the
Ben.
show. Apparently, he ignores that part. But it just feels like SaaS, dude, software as a service. And this is just another one of those things. And to some extent, Apple is offloading the risk. They're handing that over to Klarna. They're probably, collecting whatever it costs for the phone right up front.
Right.
And Klarna's handling the risk and,
Right, which is similar to what they do with the card. Like Apple doesn't run the card like the Apple Card, and they don't run Apple Cash and all that stuff. It's a service.
Right.
And I think Goldman Sachs has the card, but they were shopping that. I don't know if somebody else picked that up or not, but they were trying. Goldman Sachs was trying to get out of it.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Well,
allegedly.
I would say part of the reason for that is Apple really tries to encourage you to pay off your balance.
Right.
That's one of the things that you get from the Apple Card is, don't keep a balance, pay. And of course, those companies are making money off of their, off the interest by the bazillions.
Yep. All right. So, all right. As we continue the rant segment, Jeff.
Okay.
See, this is why I tell you not to read the news first thing in the morning. You're all salty.
I am salty. I'm salty no matter what, anyway. All right. So everybody may have heard by now, should have heard by now. If you haven't, you better have heard by now that OpenAI, it's kind of a crazy story. OpenAI set up a device, an instance that was supposedly segmented off from the known universe. In other words, no internet access, and it was supposed to be taking a test. Sounds like me in third grade. Supposed to be taking a test, and it was not supposed to be able to cheat on. So they wanted to see, what it could do to solve this. God knows how, because they're black boxes. Their AI was able to, through a series of hops, find a device on an OpenAI network. When it found the device on that OpenAI network, it had internet access, was able to then jump out to the public internet and hacked into a company called Hugging Face. Hugging Face is a code repository, kind of like GitHub for AI specifically. So they have open source AI and stuff out there where it was able to find the information it needed to be able to pass the test. So, and this was, by the way, unbeknownst to anybody at OpenAI. Nobody knew it at the time until they suddenly figured out that, oh, shoot, it was able to hack a number of devices. All of which, probably should have had security upgrades, but it was able to exploit a number of things with exposed passwords, and it's just kind of crazy, honestly. Well, come to find out this week now, OpenAI has said, oh, and by the way, they hacked into 3 other companies as well. Not saying who they were, not explaining that it was Microsoft or someplace like that that it went in and got information from. But they
was it OpenAI that said that or Anthropic?
No, I thought
I'm looking at your link and it said Anthropic, but that could be something else. I'm not sure.
Let me look. Let me look at my link, Tom. I thought it was OpenAI. I thought Anthropic says AI system. Sorry, Anthropic. My bad.
Okay.
My bad. Oh, why? Well, this computer doesn't have access to my New York Times account. That's why. Now it does.
Yeah, so the headline says, Anthropic says its AI systems broke into computers at 3 organizations. The disclosure followed OpenAI's report last week that its own artificial intelligence had hacked into the network of an online library.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. You're correct. Anthropic,
okay.
Not OpenAI. Yeah, no, I was ranting about something. Anyway.
Blinded with rage.
Not unusual for me. So it's I think that the scarier point about this is, and we both have feelings about AI. I just finished a novel and turned it into my agent yesterday about such creatures, and I'm afraid that more and more we know less and less about what these things are doing and what they're capable of doing and what they're able to do to, these were discovered, the Anthropic and OpenAI issues were discovered, but eventually, they're going to be able to clean up their paper trails. I think the logs will get hacked and things like that. Not to say that there's any actual intelligence going on other than we already know that these LLMs, at least I know, excuse me, are black boxes. Not even some of the programmers know what's going. I'd say not even a lot of them don't know what's going on under the covers. How information is being handled or gotten to and used. So this is one of those things where, first of all, it's kind of funny. On the other hand, it's kind of not, and yes, I'll stop reading the news. There was an article last week, again in the New York Times, about how Hegseth and his ilk at the Department of War are pushing to use AI as a means of determining whether or not you're going to make an attack. In other words, using autonomous systems to be able to do that kind of stuff without any human input, which I think is insane. Right now, I think the way it works is, humans still have the final say. So anyway, not saying Terminator's on its way, but maybe I am.
Okay.
So anyway, that's interesting. We'll post a link to that article.
Okay,
and you'll be able to read about that. But it's certainly an area of concern, shall we say, if some device supposedly segmented off from the known universe is able to unsegment themselves and find a way to get the information that it needs to pass a test. It was just a test, Tom.
Well,
Thoughts?
I'm not the world's smartest person.
No?
But
yes.
What's rule number 1? Well, there's kind of 2. If a device is turned on, it's not secure.
Correct.
And if a device is connected to any network, it's even more not secure.
Right.
So it's like, okay, well, we've already defeated those 2 kind of golden rules. And if you really wanted to test something, you would air gap the entire thing and have it on a closed network that had no access to the outside internet and simulate it that way.
Supposedly, that's what they had done.
Oh, sure they did. Yeah. Yeah, it became a wireless system that got onto another network. Right? Because VLAN, so you can VLAN things.
Yeah.
But it's still code. So, like,
right. Find your way.
If there's code, there's bugs.
What?
And I still say these companies have the worst PR in the history of companies. Like, the teams that do it, like, remember they first started, there was this is going to take all the jobs. It's going to take 99% of the coding jobs. It's going to take all the white-collar jobs. It's going to do all these things. And they kind of backed off of that. So they're creeping up towards IPO days. And it's like, it's probably not good for publicity.
Who's cynical? Hold on.
They did. I'm just saying, they don't, Dario will talk about programming and stuff. And then, now it's this. And it's like, okay. So no one, if you go by what they're saying here, you can't control it. So who would ever want to put it in their enterprise?
Yeah, well, too late, pal. Right?
I can't control it. It's going to do whatever. And so it's
I know.
It's a head scratcher.
It's all.
And then also there's been lots of discussions of late, especially in the last couple of weeks, that I see people talking about is, should all of this be open sourced so that everybody can look at it, see what it's doing? Anthropic doesn't seem to want to do that.
No.
I think OpenAI maybe said that they were okay with it. I don't know what their stance is on it, so I won't say. But because there are more and more open source LLMs that are getting to be quite good.
Yeah, I think Hugging Face hosts those, or the code at least. And
so I think, I think that would be a good thing, at least at the surface. I'm not an expert in it, so maybe not, but it seems on the surface it would be. And it's also still, it's going to be interesting to see as time progresses from the financial side of things, right? Because we're paying, say, $20 a month for Claude Pro or ChatGPT Plus, whatever plan you're on. They're not making money off of that $20 a month. They're still losing money, right? They haven't found like a really good way to make money with this.
They're burning through cash like nobody's business between data centers and, we're talking trillions of dollars, not even millions.
And so, some of the theories I've seen floating around is because of that, like in the next 5 years, maybe the kind of goal is to get more and more of this into local models on devices that don't have to burn network tokens, data tokens, and data centers, and all that overhead that comes with it, and then leave the big models for like the really big stuff. I don't know, because this is not going to be affordable. Like,
no. Well, here's. I'll see if I can find a link to send at least one link. If you're at all interested in the cost factor of these things, Cory Doctorow. CoryDoctorow, I believe. I think he's out talking about a new book that he has.
The Grift.
The Grift. Yeah, right, exactly right. But he's talking about a lot of this, and you cannot continue to spend, and not have. And we're not talking. Remember the old days of Amazon. Amazon made no money for a good long time, and then suddenly, but we were talking millions of dollars, maybe hit the billion with Amazon. This is big money.
Big money.
Yeah. So doctor stuff, I think, is talking about bubble, an AI bubble, which I don't think he's wrong.
I don't think so.
So anyway, I'll see if I can find a link. We put the show notes to at least one of his. He was with Jon Stewart, talking with Jon Stewart the other day on Jon Stewart. I think it's a podcast.
Yeah, Benedict Evans had some comments about that on Threads. So he studied a lot with the AI and like data centers, and like he publishes a report each year, like tech in general. So it's been a lot of AI focus of late. He's done some good podcasts too. I think he did A16, and he was on with I think he was on Lenny's podcast, that one for like startups and stuff. He's been on a bunch. So he had some thoughts on that on Thread. I'll see if I can get the link for that too.
Yeah,
talking about some of the stuff Dr. O's putting out, because he was like, looked at it and it's kind of looking like QAnon stuff. Because there's more his theory on why they're doing all of this, not so much the cost. But I'll drop some link. If I can find the link again, I'll drop it into the notes.
All right.
But.
Yeah, I'll have some links.
All right.
A link at least. All right, Tom, we're done, man. It's
wrap us up,
minutes,
brother.
more than 45 minutes. Okay, the usual things. We appreciate you listening. And if you know anyone who would be interested in the Basic AF show and Tom and me nattering on about, I don't know, whatever runs through our heads, we highly recommend that you recommend us to your friends. You can donate a little money to us if you want to. If you go on on our website, there is a place for you to be able to send us a couple bucks. We'd like that if you did that. Show music, Psychokinetics, Celsius 7. We're grateful as always for that. And Randall Martin Design has done our show artwork, and we're cool with that. Tom,
yep.
You have a newsletter that comes out every 2 weeks. Where do we get that?
TomFAnderson.com.
Yeah, and it has a really good link to his buying guide in the current issue of of his newsletter. Is that right? Current issue?
Yes. Yeah, the one from this week, and there's a link right at the top of the website too.
Yeah, so if you got somebody kicking off to college, or frankly, even if you're a rando like I am, makes sense. I didn't go with Tom's recommendation for memory. He's recommending 24 gigs of RAM. I only went with 16, but nonetheless, really, really good tool for you to help you decide what it is or what kind of Mac you might need if you're tripping off to college or if you're looking to upgrade. So check it out. Good stuff
for $17.99 a month through Klarna, Jeff.
Okay,
all right,
good.
That's it. All right, we're done.
Yeah.
All right. So as Jeff mentioned, we really appreciate you hanging out with us, sharing the show with your friends and all of that. And we'll be back in 2 weeks. Look forward to seeing you then.
See ya.